What's the big deal? Make him the bachelor. We would much rather see people of that age dating than these kids who it's a mess. These rotten kids.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Golden Bachelorette recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
Okay.
Doing okay?
Yeah.
Just okay.
Settling into the Emerald Isle.
Yeah, we really like it here.
Yeah.
I have to say, because I actually had to decide between this and another contract that I had also really wanted to do. And I had a really hard time making this decision. And now that we're here, I'm just so glad we came to Ireland. It's spectacular here.
We've
highly recommend.
Stock. A lot of taking stock of how nice this is.
Yeah, it's just really beautiful. And the food is just so good. It's better than at home, I'm sorry to say.
And you know what? I was relieved, actually, because I thought that every single person in Ireland was totally nice. And it started feeling like almost Stepford wives. Like I was like, this can't be real. They're all
wrong,
hiding something. But then I was biking over the bridge yesterday. And I was biking on the walkway instead of the road.
Sidewalk.
And some kind of pretty husky, tough looking Irishman walked by me and said, "Get the off the sidewalk." And I was like, "Thank you. Thank you for showing me that people in Ireland are actually real people."
Yeah. So actually, before we got rolling, we were discussing something and we wanted to get the Shandy's opinion on this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Is a brand that's spelled differently from an existing brand, but pronounced the same trademark infringement?
Yes.
You say yes.
No, I'm saying I think if it's in a different space. This is why we want the Shandy's opinion. I feel like they'll know.
Yeah. Are there any IP attorneys out there? So if I decided to start a brand called Pepsi, but it was spelled PEHPSY.
And it was pronounced Pepsi.
Pepsi.
And it was like
but
Pepsi
it wasn't
Cola.
soda. It was like candy bars.
Oh.
It was Pepsi.
I think that it's okay as long as it's not soda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The point is we weren't discussing the spelling of the name. We were discussing the way it sounds.
Yes.
So the question is, can you make extra claims on sound?
Yeah.
As opposed to the spelling? Because there's many ways to spell Coke.
Yeah, no, you're great. I mean, Pepsi?
Yeah.
There's no other Pepsi.
Well, that's the thing. Does Pepsi have some extra claim on sound?
Yeah.
Like Pepsi, there's no way anyone's doing a Pepsi without trying to infringe on Pepsi. It doesn't matter what they're selling. Maybe they're selling like dog collars that are called Pepsi. I still, as a Pepsi chairman, I'm saying, no, you can't use Pepsi for your dog collar.
Pepsi, though, is so famous. It's so established that I think you would be the idiot to try to infringe on that name, the pronunciation of that name. Like, why would you do that?
It's not whether you're an idiot or not. It's whether the Pepsi company is coming after you.
Okay.
I want to know.
Okay. All right.
Is sound trademarkable even if it's spelled differently?
Yeah. Okay. So let's get going, Andy.
Okay.
Recapping episode 2. Okay. So episode 2 starts with the men moved into the mansion. I loved this. There's going to be a lot of things being cute and us loving things, but this show just puts a smile on my face. I love how they were going around the mansion, the bachelor mansion. Normally you just see young people who maybe don't fully appreciate the property they're inhabiting. But all these men, I love how they're calling it a property.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, this is some property.
Yeah. They appreciate property.
Yes.
Yeah. That's something they do. They go online, they look at properties like, oh, that's a nice property.
Yeah.
And now they're in a great property. Why aren't they going to talk about it?
Totally. Then they've probably bought property in their day. They know the value of property, what property costs, what it costs to maintain a property. Yeah. Like all these little things.
They respect property.
They do.
These entitled young brats walking in the mansion and just strolling there like they own the place.
I agree. Meanwhile, they were like, wow, like, yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah.
Excellent.
And right down to the fact that you felt Kim's rage. What was that?
Oh, just a nice molding.
I do notice molding.
Yeah, well, that means you're old. Sorry.
I don't know about that. I think it just means I watch HGTV.
How many 20-year-olds do you think notice molding?
I don't know if that's fair.
Okay.
I think it depends on the 20-year-old. Like somehow I'm defending 20-years. But Kim's outrage later when the garburator thing isn't working.
Yeah, the garburator.
Yeah. He's like kind of like annoyed and he has to fix it.
Yeah.
Like I felt even that. He was like, why isn't this working?
Yeah.
Like this property should have a working garburator.
Of course.
I will say this about the Bachelor Mansion. Is that it is really nice and it's it's spectacular. But
it's all show.
No. I will say that the dishwasher, like kitchen appliance situation, and I'm sure they've updated it since then because we're talking like 10 years ago now. It was not amazing.
You know,
it was like very outdated and like never working. Like we had to hand wash our dishes because the dishwasher just never worked, that kind of thing. And when you're in a house with that many people, you do want a working dishwasher.
There's something that makes a house that's really nice with bad appliances seem worse than a house that's just fine with good appliances.
Could not agree more. I could not agree more.
And appliances are so important. If you spend money on one thing, you spend it on appliances.
If you renovate, I totally agree.
Do a turd polishing job on the reno, but spend money on those appliances.
Yeah, you really notice the difference.
Yes.
In the property.
Sometimes I'll go to a place that's an absolute dump.
Yeah.
And they have just a dynamite fridge.
Yeah.
Like a fridge where you open it, you feel like you're in, I don't know where you feel like you're in food heaven. It just is like, oh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is a nice place. And I forget about the place around the fridge. It's only about the fridge now.
This is top of mind because in the Airbnb we're in right now, the fridge is just so awful. And every time we open it, we have a full conversation about how much we hate it.
Honestly, it's so bad that I almost hope the owners are listening to this podcast. Because they need a talking to. This is absurd.
Yeah. It's
and it opens. Did we mention?
Yeah, it opens in the wrong direction.
It opens the wrong way. So you have to literally somehow find your way between the garbage area and the wall to get inside the refrigerator. It's an absolute disaster. Okay. And it's literally 3 feet tall.
But otherwise, a nice property.
Yeah.
So the men now explore the rooms and discover that they'll be sleeping in the bunk beds. They totally did this gag last season, but I still enjoy it.
Why not?
And I love how Charles L. Oh my God, Charles L. He is a star.
He's a star.
He's the best.
He's the best in seasons.
Yes. Possibly the best ever.
Yeah.
When he was like, I might be one of the oldest in age, but I think I'm one of the fittest because he volunteers to be in the top bunk.
Everything out of Charles's mouth is 100% honesty.
Yes.
Sometimes inappropriate.
He did say here, it seems I'm fitter.
Yeah. I mean, he says it like it is.
And meanwhile, Pascal is horrified by the closet size and having to do his own laundry. He sleeps naked and is not apologetic about it. I mean, Pascal, he's such a hoot.
He's
a
funny.
character.
I like him.
Okay, so now Jesse arrives and explains what happens that week. What's going to happen. 2 group dates, one-on-one date. If you go on the one-on-one date, you don't get a rose to be going home. And Charles Ellis like, could you repeat?
Oh my.
I absolutely love him. He reminds me of my mother. I have to say that.
Oh yeah. I mean, like a lot.
A lot. Like Charles L is very Mrs. Joy. Like,
sorry, Shalmaine. I mean, he is.
Yeah, just right down to the could you repeat? Like that's something my mother would say.
Well, it's the honesty.
Yes.
What I found about your mother is just the brutal honesty always.
Yes.
Which is refreshing. Oftentimes she'll say something that's like so obvious.
Yes.
That no one's saying. But then you're like, I cannot argue with what you just said.
Yes.
What you just said is exactly right.
Totally. It actually kind of reminds me of Ruby, our dog, like how she'll bark at something or someone that's like seems off, and it'll take her barking at it for us to realize that something's off about it. But we're like, but you're right. That is weird. That is a weird thing that you're barking at. I feel like that is my mom. Oftentimes she'll say the thing and then you just laugh because you're like, yes, like, of course, you're right. And Charles L here is like, could you repeat? It's like, yes, that does bear repeating.
Yes.
So now we have our group date number 1 going on this date are Gary, Bob, Jonathan, Charles L, Jordan, Guy, and Keith. The date card, the wall in the room with prom wear reads, will you go to prom with me? And I thought this was so cute. As the men are getting ready, Pascal is helping Charles L put on his bow tie. Like he's tying his bow tie for him.
By the way, if you notice, there has not been one drop of hostility in the house.
I know. Can we talk about that for a second?
No, there hasn't been one moment. And there have been moments where you could, like where someone does something where you could be like, well, he's just, you grumble about something.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The
not even a
closest
hint.
we got was Kim. But even that felt kind of like editing. Like he just sort of...
Well, I also feel like Kim was just upset. Like he was upset he lost something. He wasn't upset at anyone individually.
Yeah, and I think the upset, pardon me, in that situation is more so like you went out thinking you were going to have a whole day and then your day is cut short and only one person gets the evening and you're like, oh...
Right.
Womp womp.
He felt like the rug got pulled out from under
Yes,
him.
totally. But you're right. It doesn't feel tense. It feels like they really are there to make
They're
friends.
excited. They're like, it's like this is like a once in a lifetime experience that they appreciate so much.
Yes.
They're not going to start drama.
No.
There's no time for drama.
No.
Every drop is being savored.
Yes. Joan arrives and takes them in a limousine to a high school for prom. And one of the guys will be crowned prom king and he will get the group date rose. I just thought this was such a great idea.
Great. I'm surprised they haven't done this more often. Have they done this before? Prom?
I think they did a prom, like an 80s prom thing, or maybe just an 80s dance party.
I think it's just 80s dance party.
In Paradise, so that wasn't prom. I could have sworn there was a prom in there.
I mean, it feels like they should have done a prom by now.
Yeah.
It's so obvious.
I think there was a prom-themed party in Paradise, but I think I kind of blocked it out because usually by the time they do one of those parties, the season should have been over 2 weeks ago.
Prom.
Prom.
It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. We've said it too many times.
Prom.
Doesn't mean anything.
Prom.
Don't know what it means.
Prom.
What is that short for? It must be short for something.
I have no idea.
Is that just a word?
I don't know, but I will say this. Prom is very American.
Is it?
Yes.
So no one says, like, if you're in Canada, what's the dance called? Where are you?
I don't want to suggest that I didn't go to, like, that we didn't have a prom.
What's it called? Just a senior dance?
We kind of called it like grad.
Grad.
Yeah,
Okay.
something. It was something I don't recall. And maybe anyone, maybe I don't know. It's possible I just don't know what I'm talking about. I can totally admit that.
It.
I just don't recall being like, are you going to prom? Like, who are you going to prom with? Like, I don't remember the word prom being thrown around.
This is interesting. I think prom is an American word. I think you're right. I think if I had to guess, it's short for promenade.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of probably, if you really break it down, go back in history, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I would put money on it that prom is short for promenade and only in America is it used.
I'm a little uneasy saying that we don't use, like, because we all know what prom means in Canada, but I just don't recall. I just remember it being called grad. But I could just be, I have a really bad memory in general. So you guys come in, my fellow Canadians, come in and save me.
I trust you on this one.
Explain, please.
I trust you on this one. You're a student council. You're president student council. If anyone's going to know what the dance is called, it's going to be you.
No, because the last time I announced that I was student council president and I complained about never having been invited to a reunion, everyone was like, you're supposed to organize that, Sharleen.
You really outed yourself.
So I clearly don't know what's going on ever. So they are joined by, was it Grammy award winning? Artist?
So like Taylor Dane's no joke.
Taylor Dane.
I was even a fan, like when she came out with the, tell it to my heart, tell me I'm the only one. Is this really love or just a game? I was singing that all the time.
It's a great, and she has pipes.
Pipes, yeah. Jew from Long Island.
Really?
Jew from Long Island.
Really?
Yeah. So when they play the game of like who's Jewish, like Harrison Ford's a quarter Jew, and
Harrison Ford,
the Adam Sandler song, the Hanukkah song, where he lists all the famous Jewish people.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Taylor Dane's in there.
You think, or you?
I think if he didn't put Taylor Dane in there, he missed.
Okay,
should have.
Okay, but so Taylor Dane, 100% Jewish from
New York.
Island. Wow.
I think Long Island and then New York City, or New York City via Long Island, one of the two.
So the guys take turns dancing, and I have to say Jonathan's moves. I mean, he's how the hell is this man 61 years old?
I mean, just saying. Speaking of not Jews from Long Island.
They do a photo booth, sneak booze into the punch bowl. I thought that was cute. And they look at their high school photos. And now we learn that Jonathan was the only student of color in his high school. And he finally gained the courage to ask one girl to prom, and she ended up bailing on going. And he sort of carried that for, over 30 years. 40 something years.
Uh-huh. It's a lot of years.
A lot of years.
Many years.
Many years.
Many years.
Yes. And it was just so touching that he finally got to go to prom.
It's a good story.
There's time with...
Sad story, but a good ending.
Yeah. 43 years.
43 years.
I did it.
Nice.
I got there. I couldn't let that just stay that way. So we learned a few more tidbits on this big group date. Turns out Jordan went on a date with Taylor Dane 5 years ago.
Yeah. How did that happen?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's how they got Taylor Dane. Like he's friends with her or something?
Doubtful. Gary is Tina Turner's godson.
Again, how did that happen?
That's pretty
Does
cool.
he have famous parents?
Maybe this is what you need to get on the show now.
You need
in order to get
some
on the Golden
connection
Bachelor or
to
Golden
fame.
Bachelorette. Yeah.
What are you going to give us?
Yeah.
I can give you Taylor Dane.
So Charles L. now, we see him sitting alone in the bleachers. And when he sits with Joan, he tells her about his late wife and how she was the only person he ever dated. But he says that this has been the happiest day for him in a long time.
Isn't that nice?
And he's finally allowing himself to feel happiness again. We were melted during this.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where he's playing that basketball game with her. And he's like, I'm getting better.
God, so good.
Okay, so now back at the mansion, Chock gets the one-on-one date card. I have remorse, Andy.
Sorry.
Because you do know what?
I think I kind of pushed you away from Chock.
Yes. I'm very upset with you.
Sorry.
I know, but it's my own fault that I allowed myself to be influenced. But I wanted to put Chock in my top 4. And I had said while we were watching, I was like, oh, I think Chock's one to watch. And you were like, no.
I did do that.
And it threw me. It threw me off. It really did, because you were so insanely good at this with Golden Bachelor that I defer to you with these golden seasons. And I'm mad at myself. I did not put him in my top 4.
I was thrown by the name, to be honest. I just couldn't get over the name.
Wait, the reason is his name?
Yeah, I just didn't think a Chock was going to make it.
Oh my God. That is a terrible reason.
It was a terrible reason.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I failed you.
Okay, so back at prom now. Joan crowns Jonathan prom king. He gets that group date rose. He's so touched by this. It looks like he might cry. Yeah. It's so sweet. And the other men are just cheering for him. They have a dance. It's just lovely.
So Sharleen, I have traveled thousands of miles to be here on the Emerald Isle.
Yes.
And you know what else has traveled with me?
Your quince sweater.
Damn right.
You look so cozy. I love this burgundy cashmere sweater on you. And I am wearing my boyfriend cashmere quince cardigan. Quince. I mean, they have really taken the fashion world by storm with their fantastic high quality pieces, basics. They understand the basic over at Quince, but their prices are 50 to 80% less than you would typically spend on pieces that look this good, feel this good, are this good quality. And that's because Quince partners directly with the factories. They cut out the middleman. So basically that little label that you typically see in an article of clothing that might be hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if you were to remove that label and instead have a quince in there, what would you be paying?
And I know a lot of people are thinking that this is probably unethical.
Yeah, because a lot of the fashion world is unethical, frankly.
However, Quince only partners with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices.
Yes. That's just feel good, isn't it?
It is.
And
I want to feel good. I want to feel not only warm and cozy and soft, but I want to feel good in my heart.
And your Mongolian cashmere sweater, only $59.90. That is absolutely bonkers. That's one of those Black Friday sale prices.
No, this doesn't feel $59.90.
No. I mean, this is the price every day.
Unless you think that we are going on and on. We had extremely limited real estate in our suitcases.
Yes.
For this trip. 7 weeks.
Yes.
And one of the bags we packed that we checked was all podcast stuff.
Yes.
So the fact that we have 2 pieces here is absolutely incredible. It speaks 1,000 words.
Yes. Also, we did use both of these sweaters to help pack the podcast stuff.
Also that.
That's how cushy soft it is.
Multi-purpose.
So make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials.
Go to quince.com/Shandy for free shipping and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/Shandy for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Shandy.
So Sharleen, as you may be aware, I have a new routine. And that is I take one via Flow State gummy before we record.
CBD gummy.
CBD gummy.
Although not here, not in Ireland. Because we couldn't bring it here. I was sad. We did a little research. We're like, can we bring these to Ireland? And then we saw we couldn't. And we were like,
But that being said, if you enjoy a CBD or a THC, this is a good brand for you.
Yes.
They have everything you could possibly want.
It's like a full array. Like it's a rainbow of different purposes, different names. And they'll be THC free. They'll be with THC. Some of them are for relaxation. Some of them are for sleep.
But what I love about them is they not only incorporate, first of all, the full spectrum of the hemp plant, of CBD, CBG,
yes,
THC,
they have CBG. I like
all
the
these,
CBG.
everything.
Yes.
But they also take the best parts of lion's mane reishi mushrooms and they bring it in.
The
They
functional
bring it into the
mushrooms.
family. I take the Zen for sleep.
I'm into the Zen, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm into it. I vetted it for sleep. Everyone knows that's my thing.
It's good. Charlene vetted. That's very big. That's
Yes.
a tough vet.
No, I was not going to vet Via if I didn't think their sleep gummy helped.
And also, if I'm having one of those days, which is not that infrequent, where I feel stressed, a little anxious, I go for the Revive, and I'm telling you, it works.
Yeah, actually, the Revive. I took the Revive before a very harrowing dentist appointment. And let me tell you, it would have been more harrowing without my Revive gummy.
It took the harrow out.
Via. Good. It needs a jingle. Via. We'll work on that.
We'll get there. Yeah,
the next Via ad will have a jingle for sure. I know you guys can't wait.
Hold your breath starting now.
So if you're 21 or up, check out the link to Via in our description and use code Shandy to get 15% off.
After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Support Dear Shandy and tell them we sent you.
This fall, enhance your everyday with Via.
So Charlene, you know what I have?
What?
I have peace of mind.
Ooh.
I have ZocDoc peace of mind, the best type of peace of mind because it's about your health.
Oh.
And what ZocDoc did for me is before we left for this trip, I booked all my appointments in 10 minutes.
Oh my God. It's such aggressive peace of mind, Andy. It's true though, before we came to Ireland, before coming on a trip of this size, we wanted to make sure that, everything was working properly. And so we each went on ZocDoc and booked a bunch of appointments. And ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can do this, but it's really so much more than just a platform because it's also like a search engine where you can search for doctors, basically any healthcare providers in your area. And then you can also filter based on reviews and whether or not that doctor takes your insurance, which is absolutely massive. And then on top of that, you can book the appointment within ZocDoc so you never have to pick up the phone.
What's amazing is all four of those things before ZocDoc were a pain in the ass.
Yes.
All four.
Yes.
Each one of them was a separate job.
100%.
Where are they?
Oh my
Where's
God.
the doctor?
Yeah.
Are they good?
Are they good?
Do they take my insurance?
Yes.
Do they have an appointment?
Yeah.
When is their next appointment? Do I have to talk to a person and have a a
Let me put you on hold and then you get the
yeah, exactly. I got someone's in the office are
music.
complaining. Yeah. Oh my, who wants that?
No, ZocDoc is an absolute lifesaver, possibly literally.
The best friction to eliminate in your life is the friction of making doctor's appointments to take care of your health. And what ZocDoc does is it eliminates the friction. It's lube for your health. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/Shandy to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/Shandy, ZocDoc.com/Shandy. Okay, so now the next day, the men are all napping around the house. And Pascal keeps talking about Greg's snoring, although Greg does do his laundry.
Yeah.
This was adorable.
And nicely.
Yeah.
Folds it and everything.
Greg's-
Wash and fold.
I'm still trying to figure Greg out. Greg with 2 G's.
Yeah. What's the thing with Greg with 2 G's? Is that like a Norwegian thing?
No.
What, you don't really need 2 G's.
No,
ever.
you absolutely do
I
not.
mean, you can just get rid of the extra G. You're not fooling anybody.
Greg says it's not the first time he woke up to a naked Frenchman punching him.
Funny.
You really liked
This
this.
is funny.
Andy.
Funny joke.
So yeah. I mean, he did deliver it. I will say you found this funnier than I did.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't find that funny. Was that not funny?
Yeah, it's funny.
It's funny.
It's funny in an unsophisticated way.
Yeah, but it's delivered. It's all about the delivery.
Yeah, no, it was
You
funny.
delivered it well.
No, it was funny.
I laughed.
It was funny.
All right.
I think that joke is slightly where our senses of humor diverge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to pinpoint what it is.
It's corny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like corn more than you.
You definitely like corn and slapstick more than
But
me.
corn's got to be delivered very well.
Yes.
You got to be careful.
He
because
did-
what he did was he delivered it in a way where I was like, did did he get punched by a naked Frenchman one time before?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't 100% sure.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
He wasn't like, and it's not the first time.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay, so now Chock on his one-on-one. They go to Disneyland. Oh my goodness.
It's a big one.
How do they do this? How do you think they did this? Do you understand how many release forms had to have been signed that day? All the people. It's not like they shut down Disneyland. There were so many people. So all those people who were seen and who were not blurred out, and most of them were not, signed some release.
Don't you think they kind of like did a little crowd control in the areas where they were filming?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did some. So they ride rides, they eat churros, lots of reminiscing. Okay, so this date, I have to say, is spectacularly done. Like, we have to give credit where credit is due. For them to pull off a date like this at Disneyland, and they had like a camera attached to one of the rides. It was very, very well done, well shot, well captured.
They had to bring it. It was Disneyland.
Yeah. I mean, it really speaks to the amount of manpower and I guess funds they have behind the Golden series now.
Yeah.
It felt like a lot. This season has a lot of money behind it, more than Golden Bachelor had.
Yeah.
Frankly.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Right down to the fact that the episodes are 2 hours now.
2 hours.
Yeah. Remember when they were an hour?
I do remember that. They were testing the waters, testing the golden waters that were created by golden showers. I had to find a way to get that in there, shoehorn it in.
So Chock in his ITM says that what he's working on in life right now is relaxing and enjoying the moment, something that is tough for him. Very relatable. And now they chat, and here we get Word Watch 1 and 2. Joan says, I always pictured myself bringing my grandkids to Disneyland. And then she says a few more things before saying, everyone brings their grandkids here. And they have a chat here, but to be honest, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's kind of just.
It was
by the numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now we have the evening. They dress up for dinner. She's dressed like a princess. Her hair is down. Frankly, I don't know if it should have been, but I'm not. I said I wasn't going to talk about it. I wasn't going to talk about it. Okay. We learn that Chock was married for 12 years. She was the mother of his 3 children. Then they divorced. He took a few years and then met a woman named Kathy, whom he was with for 9 years. They planned to get married, and then they discovered that she had tumors on her brain, turned out to be glioblastoma.
Yeah. Oof.
That was
brutal.
Yeah. Joan says since John passed away, she has felt untethered. Yeah, so she relates to him here. And she said they sort of relate on having lost their spouse. And she has felt untethered. She has anxiety. And she doesn't feel safe like she used to. This really, this hit.
You could put yourself in her shoes there. You know what she's feeling.
Yeah.
That feeling of like something's missing.
Yeah.
And you can't, it's like your body, the problem with humans is we're still the same body, pretty much, that we were 500,000 years ago. But our brain is so far advanced. It's so outstripped the general spec sheet of our body that when we lose someone in 500,000 years ago, it'd be like, oh, it's sad, but then we bury them and we move on. The next day, maybe those guys were fine. But now our brain's like ruminating. It's like, how do we fix that problem?
Well,
how do we get that thing back? We can get it back. We can fix it. It has to be fixed.
Well, most things get fixed now. And also, if you think more of an acknowledgement and more of a relationship with death.
Yeah. It was just part of life. It was like the cycle of life.
Yes.
Like people died probably left and right. Like
guy
probably had 7 or 8 mates before he died.
Yes. I think death was something that was acknowledged more and discussed more in life. And I think that they, found ways to acknowledge the dead in their daily life more than we do. I feel like there's like a real separation between life and death in today's society.
Yes, because we've moved so far away from being an animal.
Yeah.
We've entered this phase. It's like an artificial life. We're no longer animals, so we don't die.
Yeah.
We don't poop.
Yeah.
We don't have sex in some I mean, I don't know. We don't have real sex. It's kind of hidden. It's not spoken that people are having sex all the
sterile.
time. But the price you pay for distancing yourself from all these animalistic qualities is the emotional suffering that comes with it, because you are detached. You are now no longer an animal by your own choosing. And all these problems become so much more weighty and paralyzing. And I know exactly, and I'm sure a million people know exactly what she is talking about. That middle of the night, like there's a problem that needs to be fixed and I have to fix it, but there really is no fix to that problem. And that's very painful.
Oh, Andy, that was really beautifully put.
Oh,
sad, but
sad.
Yeah,
Very sad.
You sound like you actually do really understand it to some degree. The loss of a loved one. Yeah. Chock says that what he is looking for is honesty. And he said he really got that from Kathy and that Joan reminds him of Kathy in that way. Joan tells Chock that he makes her feel safe. She gives him the rose and they go watch Disney fireworks. Not just any fireworks.
Disney fireworks are good fireworks. You know, that's my first memory as a human is Disney fireworks.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
You went to Disneyland?
When I was like 3.
Oh. Yeah. The one in LA or the one in Florida?
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Orlando, yeah.
That doesn't count?
I think that's Disney World.
Oh, does it really matter? They're Disney like geographies.
So the fireworks made a big impression on you.
Yeah, I remember. I was both terrified and thrilled. It was like crazy. A 3-year-old is essentially like a small dog. Like I had the comprehension of a dog.
I don't know.
And a dog gets crazy when fireworks go off. That's what I was doing.
It's like, I cannot compute.
Yeah. I was just like, what's happening? Why is the sky exploding? And it's also cool, but I'm scared. And it's loud, but I like it. But I don't know what to do. Why are people doing this? Does this end badly? Does this end well or badly? I don't know.
These are all reasonable questions. Why are we doing this?
Yeah. It's a crazy thing. Imagine you're popped out of a womb. And like by the time you have any comprehension of what's going on, suddenly you're faced with explosions in the sky and no one explained to you. No one's like, listen, this is what's going to happen, kid. So there's going to be these big explosions in the sky, but it's totally fine. We're just joking around. It's humans. We do things. It's fun. It's pretty. It's a game. It's just a game. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No one gives you like, a lecture about what fireworks are. You just have to deal with it. And you're like, what the hell is this?
You just have to deal with it. I feel like we're learning a lot about you as a small child.
Yeah, I was pretty anxious.
You just have to deal with it. Okay, so now it's the next day. Kim is fixing the garbage disposal unit.
Kim's a guy you want to have around.
I wrote,
if I'm going to marry a guy, handy. I go Kim.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't need the jokes. I want the garburator fixer. That's what I want.
There was one point where we paused because I went to go get something and he was paused like with his t-shirt and he was like looking up and he looked very like studly and I was like, is it just me or is Kim kind of hot?
Oh, Kim is totally hot. You know what Kim is? Kim's the guy who like no matter what age he is, he could be 90. It doesn't matter. You go to the grocery store and some guy gives you trouble. You're the wife. I'm the wife. And some guy's giving me trouble. Kim's the kind of guy.
Oh.
You know what he says? This is what Kim says. He steps between his lady and this gentleman who's causing trouble. And he says, there are 2 ways this can go down. That's his opener. That's the kind of guy Kim is.
Yeah. No, I would feel very cared for, defended, protected.
Yeah. You know the story reminds me of the story of Jack Dempsey. Did I ever tell the story of Jack Dempsey?
No.
Jack Dempsey was a great, amazing heavyweight boxer from like the 20s.
Okay.
And he retired and he opened a bar up in uptown near Harlem in Manhattan called Dempsey's.
Okay.
It's a bar and grill. And he was closing the bar one night and he's walking out to his car. This is 83-year-old Jack Dempsey and 2 kids mugged him and they attacked him and they tried to rob him. And so the cops show up 10, 15 minutes later, but someone called the cops. And Dempsey at 83 has got one kid in a headlock.
Oh my God.
And the other kid, he's got his foot on his head in the ground.
Wow.
And just standing there waiting for the cops.
Wow. 83.
83. And I'll tell you something, 10 years later, if he was alive, he could have done the same thing.
Wow.
It's attitude. And he's also the heavyweight champion of the world at one point. But that helps too. Okay. But it's attitude.
Attitude. Okay, so we have group date number 2 now. It's the 2nd annual Golden Talent Showcase. The winner will get to have dinner with Joan. Greg does some comedy.
No.
It wasn't bad.
No.
This is his thing. Greg is the funny guy.
It's funny.
Yeah. Charles K. punches a plank of wood. Christopher yo-yos.
He punched him in the chest,
Yeah. He didn't mean to do that.
No, but that hurts.
Yeah.
He took it like a man.
He really did.
Right in the solar plexus.
I mean, Greg is...
I would have gone down.
I'm into Greg.
Yeah. I like Greg too.
Even though his jokes are corny. I still respect it.
I like it. You got a corn. It's got to be respected.
Christopher yo-yos, Jill juggles. Oh my God. That's hard to read. Jill juggles. Gil juggles. Look, visually looking at those two words together is harder to pronounce.
You want to say Jill juggles.
Yes.
But it's Gil.
Or Gil
juggles.
Yeah, I don't know. It was harder to read than I thought it was going to be. Michael reads a poem. Jack does sock puppets. Pascal cuts a mannequin's hair. I thought that was really
nice.
Cute.
Yeah.
Kim sings a song. Andy, you and I were divided on whether or not he was good.
Well, I just thought he should have committed a little more.
I think he committed.
He sort of read it like a poem.
What you wanted was more affect in his singing.
I wanted a little more. I wanted a little more.
I think you were also thrown off by the melody of the song, but I actually thought he really pulled this off. Like this was a difficult song to sing a cappella, and I thought he did really well.
You know what? You're right. I'll give it to him. I was a little hard on Kim.
Yeah, I felt you were a little too hard on him.
Yeah, I agree.
You put too much stock in affect with singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was on key.
He was focusing on the words and the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Dan does a ribbon dance, and at the top, he addresses his tremor.
Yeah.
So there's some nerves going into this. In his ITM, he expresses some nerves. And I think even the ITM that was about this might have been earlier, but he basically is like, it's genetic. My dad had it. My grandfather had it, that sort of thing. And he says it like, it's talk about a moment of vulnerability at the top of his act. He says that he chose the ribbons because he was like, this is perfect for my tremor.
That's great. Let's talk about confidence.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we really liked Dan last week. I feel like it's hard to beat
Dan
good. In our hearts.
Yeah, Dan is good.
Dan feels so, I think I said this, did I say this last week? Youthful. He feels youthful, how he speaks. Him and Jordan are the two. Him and Jordan, I feel like they could be 20 years younger.
He feels like that really wide-eyed, nice kid in the neighborhood.
Yes.
You know, there's always that kid who's like always nice.
Yeah, but who also can roll with it. Like he'll crack a joke. Like he's not easily offended. You know what I mean?
He's just a good guy. Yeah. He's a fun guy.
Big fans here. He wins, so we're not the only ones who are big Dan fans. Yeah. And at the mansion, they make it seem, so all the other guys have to go home. They make it seem like Kim's really upset about this, but I think he just wanted to have more of a day, honestly, which is understandable. And so now in the evening, Dan tells Joan that at one point he went to the doctor and was told he only had 6 months to live.
Unbelievable.
He quit.
Well, that doctor's really covering his ass. How many people has he told that who've lived? It's like, oh, you went to Dr. Shapiro? Yeah, he told me I had 6 months too. What the hell's wrong with that guy?
So he quit work and started investing in his health and has put most of that behind him, basically. He has still diabetes. He still has this tremor, but he's basically no longer has to worry about passing away in 6 months. I mean, it's kind of insane. Yeah. It's really admirable.
He turned a lemonade into a lemon.
Yeah.
That's exactly not what he did. It's exactly the opposite of what he did. He made lemonade out of lemons. I'm really having a rough time today.
Yeah. It sounds like he really took control of his health. And it's, I mean, I know not everyone is able to turn something around like that, but I don't know. It's kind of cool to imagine that you have more control than you believe. I bet you that wasn't easy.
No.
He says his outlook now is to live life more, to see the humor in life. I love this.
Love it.
And he talks, he's given the rose by Joan, and he talks about how intimate it felt. Intimate.
And you know what? This may be the closest thing to real intimacy I saw so far.
I agree. And I kind of felt it more from
Dan. Dan was giving. Dan was giving.
You know what Dan gives? A solid eye contact.
Oh yeah. When you get all of Dan. You're not getting 10%.
He is he's just like, when he looks at someone, when he's looking at her, I'm like, he is just open. I don't know. He's like porous.
You know, there's an art to eye contact. There really is. Because there's creepy eye contact too.
There is.
You want to try it? Let's try it. Ready? Okay. Watch, ready? You tell me which one's which.
Okay.
So anyway, I was going, it was a store and like things were happening and someone attacked me and they stole all my bananas. And then, okay, so that's one.
Okay.
Here's the other one. So I was going to the store the other day and I was just having... creepy.
How did you do that? The second one was creepy.
Creepy. Staring in the wrong places, kind of like too wide-eyed,
wide-eyed.
a little too dead on.
Yes.
There's no motion.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, very subtle.
Wow, that was impressive. You
Thank
know what
you.
you just did? You were like Tyra Banks smizing. So she would be like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
She'd be like, okay, like this is you right now. And this is smizing.
Right. Is it? I miss Tyra Banks.
Me too.
Did Tyra Banks get into some controversy? I feel like no one survived. Like anyone you talk about from like 30 years ago, something they got canceled.
I would imagine she got involved in some controversy, but I don't know what it is, and probably not. Maybe, who knows? Maybe she didn't. Tyra Banks is pretty on top of her image.
Yeah, you're right. Tyra Banks, you know what? Tyra Banks, she was thinking about Tyra Banks.
Yeah.
She was not going to screw up.
Like trademark.
Tyra Banks.
Yes.
And you
in a way,
can't have another brand name, Tyra Banks,
No.
even if it's spelled TIRABANCCS. That was not worth it. Just want to state that right now. Not worth it.
Not worth it. It's so cute when Dan in his ITM says, and we kissed a little bit, and that was pretty cool.
No. Dan is competing for Charles L's cute.
It's a different kind of cute. It's a different kind of cute. Equally cute.
Yeah.
Dan is not cute. Charles L's cute. Dan is like...
Dan's pretty cute.
Dan's like great.
He's cute. If I think Dan is cute, he's cute.
Okay, so now it's the next day. We have a barbecue. Lots of mixed opinions on how one should prepare a burger. I thought this was funny.
I think that they all, I mean, I am no longer a burger eater. I was a burger eater for many years.
Mm-hmm, same.
And I totally respect where Jack is coming from.
Jack was right.
There's no question.
Medium rare. You do not put barbecue sauce on a burger while you're cooking
While
it.
you're cooking it. That means you're now eating barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
There's no burger is just, that's the canvas.
Yes.
The whole point of the burger is the burger.
Yes.
Otherwise, that's why, you just have a crappy piece of meat. Just get one of those like square flat patties that come in those giant stacks at the grocery store.
Yeah.
They're like $20 for like 1,000 and just put barbecue sauce on
Jack
them.
is the caterer. He's the one who cooked on night one.
I think I'm going to trust Jack
I'm trusting
over
Jack.
the contractor making burgers.
I was a fan when he was putting barbecue sauce while they were still cooking. I was like,
and also it was like he was putting like Heinz barbecue sauce. It wasn't like he was doing something. Oh, I made this
glaze.
from home.
Yeah,
It was an absolute disaster.
yeah. Okay.
Jack knows his shit.
So now we get one-on-one time with a bunch of the guys. First, Jordan. The main thing I had to point out here is that he's kind of jacked.
Jacked.
Jordan's jacked.
Super jacked.
Like I missed this on night
Yeah.
one. It honestly, it sort of changes my perception of him.
A little bit. And he knows he dated Taylor Dane.
Yeah. I think
Which I think may in the end be a negative. Nothing against Taylor Dane. Tell it to my heart. Tell me I'm the only one. Is this really love or just a game? But nothing against Taylor Dane. She's great. I just judged someone who may have dated her. That's all.
Oh no, he's so jacked that I'm like, you don't get that jacked, not trying to get that jacked.
But you also don't date Taylor Dane, not trying to date Taylor Dane.
Oh. do. Okay, Pascal, he shows off his wardrobe in the closet. This was great. Gil, he shares that his late wife loved The Bachelor. And here, this is a fun tidbit. We learn from Joan that John did too.
No.
Yeah, they're like, they would have gotten a kick out of the fact that we're doing this right now.
Maybe they're watching up in heaven. That's what they said.
Yeah,
it's like Star Wars, where they're like up in heaven, but instead of like watching the celebration, they're just watching The Bachelor.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jack's doing a bunch of cannonballs, but they couldn't even make this seem like a negative.
First of all,
thing.
Jack is doing this right.
Absolutely.
Jack didn't come here to win.
No.
Jack came here to play. And he didn't even come to play. He just came to hang out.
Yeah. No,
and he
came to play. A different kind of play.
To play.
He came to like play.
No, he didn't play the game.
Yeah,
he came to just play.
Yes.
Yeah. And he did it right.
Yes.
Honestly. Jack was like, I'm not winning this thing. I don't want to win this thing. I don't even want to get to the point where it gets serious, where I have to be like, oh, well, I really want to spend my life with you. He's like, I want to do some cannonballs. I want to cook some burgers. I want to see a nice house. I want to hang out with some fellas, have a sleepover, and be done with it.
It's not a house, Andy. It's a property.
It is a property. You're right. Thank you.
I really like Jack, and I understand the purpose he was serving, but I'm still shocked that he went home given the amount of material he provided.
Yeah, I think Joan
Mm.
have a full appreciation of what Jack offered. I think she was okay
It's
with him
not
being
so much
gone.
Joan. I don't think Joan ever saw it with Jack. I think I'm more so surprised that the producers weren't like,
No,
oh,
I'm
we're
saying that
keeping
Joan didn't see it with Jack.
Yeah.
I'm just saying she thought his antics were like, she's like, okay, we get it. That's good. Let's
Yeah.
focus on
Well,
the
also
guys I
obviously the
actually may
producers
date.
felt the same way.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, when you get to the bottom 50% of the remaining guys, that's mostly a producer's call.
Sure.
And I'm just surprised.
I'm surprised too.
Yeah.
I think she probably pushed for it. She's like, I want this to be serious.
No more cannonballs.
Yeah. This is a serious thing here.
Okay, here we get Word Watch 3. Gary, in his chat with Joan, says, the joys that we now get to see with our grandkids. Very cute. In their conversation, Joan gifts Gary their framed prom photo.
And I'll tell you something. Gary is coming up in the cute contest.
Yes.
Gary's right up there with Dan.
Yeah.
It's like-
Charles L's on
Yeah,
top.
Charles L. It's like if it's a horse race, Charles L. is leading by like 6 or 7 lengths.
Yes.
And then you've got Dan, and then right behind him by a head is Gary.
Yeah, but I gotta say, the only one out of those 3 where I'm buying a romantic connection, a potential romantic connection, is Dan, personally.
I agree.
Yeah. Also, I have to point out, Dan said they kissed a little bit, and that was pretty cool. I don't recall seeing
I don't
kissing.
either. I don't recall either.
Are we not being shown kissing?
How could we not be shown kissing?
The only kiss I recall seeing. Okay, we saw one with Chock, I think, and then we saw one with Mark later.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting that a kiss was referenced but not shown. Maybe I missed it. I
Did
don't
we
know.
miss it? We must have missed it.
I don't know. I would
There's
kind
no
of-
way they missed a kiss.
I'm surprised. Okay, so Kim now, he tells Joan about how he was able to gift his granddaughter a letter that his late wife had written to her, and now she was old enough to read it.
Oh, this was touching.
It was actually pretty funny when she was like, oh, how was it? And he was like, oh, she didn't really seem too bothered by it, but I was a mess.
Yeah.
And Kim says something that really stood out to me here. I mean, I think this is really beautiful. He says, I understand she's still in love with her husband, and I think she understands I'm still in love with my wife. That doesn't keep us from having the capacity in our hearts for more love.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's really beautiful.
But sometimes you could think like, oh, well, they're never going to love the new person
Yeah.
as much as they love their deceased spouse.
Yeah.
But maybe you think of it as just like a mug of love, and the mug is half full, and then you fill it up to the top.
I think the point is that there are endless mugs.
Oh, yeah, more. Yeah, it's not one mug. I screwed that up. You're right. Thank you.
We actually were having a conversation with someone recently about that, about how when Ruby came into your life, you were like, wait, I love 2 things so much. I don't know what to do with
No,
this.
I didn't know. I didn't know how to love 2 things
Yeah.
that much.
Yeah. And then you realize that you can.
Yeah, you
Be
just can
rude.
love both. It's okay. It's okay to love both as much as you can love anything.
Yeah.
You can love many things as much as you can love anything.
Yes.
If you accept the fact that each one is lovable in their own right.
Yes. Good, Andy. You got there.
Please buy my book. You can Barnes and Nobles, $9.99.
Squarespace always gets some sort of a special song because we love Squarespace so much. Squarespace is honestly one of my favorite sponsors that we have, truly. When Squarespace first came across the Dear Shandy desk, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm so excited. And even now, we've been advertising them for years. I'm like, Squarespace. I'm a ride or die Squarespacer.
I was just going to not talk and see how far you went.
Squarespace is your destination for making a beautiful, professional looking website with little to no design experience. I mean, everyone needs a website.
Everyone does.
Yes.
Everyone needs a website.
I mean, I think so.
Everyone.
I mean, I don't want to necessarily live in a world where everyone needs a website. But that's a conversation for a different day. Use Squarespace and get ahead with a website that really does your business, whatever you're up to. I mean, everyone has something they're up to. Whatever you're up to, do it justice with a website that's beautiful because Squarespace has gorgeous templates to choose from. They help you pick a template based on what your website is about. And then after you've selected your template, you get to plug in your graphics, your photography, your text. And then they have all these fantastic features to really make the website bespoke to you and your business. We've said it before, we'll say it again. The proof is in the pudding. dearshandy.com was built with Squarespace. My singing website, charlenejoint.com, Squarespace. My blog, which admittedly, I haven't I don't have time for it anymore. But alltheprettypandas.com, you can go look at it, made with Squarespace. And even our wedding website was with Squarespace.
Shandy NYC.
Shandy.nyc.
.nyc. It's a good domain.
Oh, even the domain I got through Squarespace. So go to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Again, that's squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Shandy for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. AG1 is gonna make your morning bright. AG1, don't put up a fight.
Wow, Andy, an Irish AG1 jingle. You know, AG1 deserves a local jingle. Okay, I think it says a lot that we brought AG1. So we're here for 7+ weeks. We brought enough AG1 to last both of us for those 7+ weeks, all the way to Ireland. Like Andy's holding it. We have 2 more bags after this.
This is sizable.
Yes.
I could have packed another white V.
You really could.
Maybe 2.
You actually could have. AG1 is our comprehensive daily nutrition. It has all of our vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics, whole food source ingredients, all these superfoods that make you feel your best. It sure beats standing in the kitchen, taking your many multivitamins and different supplements every morning.
And also thinking about replenishing those supplements.
So with AG1, every morning you just take a scoop, you put it in a glass of water, you give it a stir, a whisk.
Yeah.
You add a drop of the vitamin D3K2, and then that's it. You are good. That's your, like they say, your comprehensive daily nutrition. How great. How convenient.
Great.
It is
and convenient.
It is. I mean,
it's great and convenient.
And I've got to say, I feel a difference when I take it. I feel more energized. It definitely reduces bloating. This is a thing. Yeah. I felt that I was going through a bloaty phase until AG1 came along. It certainly helps digestion. It definitely keeps you regular.
That gives top of the morning new meaning.
So start with AG1 and notice the difference for yourself.
It's a great first step to investing in your health.
Try AG1 and get a free bottle of vitamin D3K2 plus 5 free travel packs with your first purchase when you go to drinkag1.com/dearshandy.
That's a $48 value for free when you go to drinkag1.com/dearshandy.
Okay, Mark now. He tells Joan he spent 24 years in the army.
Oof,
wow.
That's a lot of army.
And 11 years in Germany.
That's a lot. He is the fighting guy I thought he was.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't pursuing Hollywood, Andy.
No,
he was busy being a real
defending
hero.
Our country.
Yes, because you were giving him a hard time last week. You were like, "Why isn't this guy a famous actor?"
I mean, I think
you're like, "What has he been up to?"
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think he could have helped maybe more people as an actor than he did in the military
with his acting.
He did. I'm just saying that I think the joy that he could have brought to the silver screen would have outweighed his military.
I mean, Mark really has a face made for a screen.
Yeah, he should have been an actor. I stand by it. I say should have been an actor still.
He's really striking.
I respect his choice.
Yeah.
It's an honorable choice.
Yes.
But he should have been an actor.
His face is
outrageous.
It's outrageous.
It's outrageous. I want to see that guy saving people with a big gun.
Yes.
A lot of bullets strapped to him.
Totally.
Saving villages.
No, I want to see that too.
Yeah.
I think you've almost got a point here.
Yeah. The country, trust me, there's plenty of brave men who could fill his shoes and do what he did. He needed to go into acting.
Yeah, not everyone could have been like a satisfying hero role in a movie the way he could have been.
Let me ask you, if
could still be. That's the thing about him is he's timeless.
Let's say Brad Pitt decided to become a soldier, and he was a pretty good soldier. Like they're like about that Brad Pitt. He had a good military career. Good, helped our country.
Yeah.
Would it not have been better if he just became the actor Brad Pitt?
This is very offensive.
Should I go into military recruiting? Hey, come on, son. Come over here. Sign right here. Or maybe take a headshot. You never know.
Okay, so he reads her German phrases now and makes her guess what they mean. And she's actually really good at this.
Yeah.
And finally, it culminates with him asking in German, "Can I kiss you?" And she says, "You could have asked in English too." Mm-hmm. And is this what he says here? He says, but it's more funner.
Yeah, he says it's funner.
Did he say
nervous.
funner?
He said funner.
I'm not 100% sure.
I'm 90% sure he said funner.
I hope he said funner.
Me too.
I think funner should be a word. I'm going to say it.
More fun?
More fun's not as fun as funner. Funner should be, it's like how weird is spelled with the I and the E in the wrong position because it's the word weird.
Yeah, but there's no words of that format that have ER after them. It's all
but
always
it's
more.
funner.
It's more
That's
exciting.
the point.
It's not excinger.
I know, but that's the thing is it's fun. Like it should be the
So
exception.
you're saying funner is a fun word in itself.
Yes.
So fun
It should be the
deserves
exception.
funner. I
Yes.
agree. Okay.
Yes.
I agree.
Oh, okay.
Moving
wow.
on.
Oh, wow. That was
Oh,
easier
you
than I
sold me.
expected.
Good.
I gotta say though, I still find Mark too perfect.
I agree.
So they have their kiss. Seems to be a double kiss. They go back in for more kissing. So I mean, I guess I'm the one missing this memo. I don't know what it is. I don't buy this. Maybe
I don't buy it either.
I'm confused.
I do not buy it.
I'm very confused.
I ain't buying those lemons.
It felt.
I ain't buying that fish. That fish is a day old. Is that like an old timey thing? That fish is a day old. I ain't buying it. I ain't buying that fish. That's a day old fish. I'm not buying. Oh, it's from the sweet smell of the smell of success. Oh, the sweet smell of success. The sweet smell of success.
Is that a movie?
That's Burt Lancaster. He says that's day old fish. I ain't buying it. You know what? I'm gonna plant my flag on that one. I'm gonna say that's a heavy call. I think I'm right.
Oh, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. I have not, from the second you said I ain't buying that the first time, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure Shandy's will come tell you you are right or wrong.
Right.
I have no idea.
I told you I'd become an old man when we did this. I told you.
So my issue with Mark is that he's too perfect. I find it unrealistic. I
agree.
found this scene unrealistic.
You know what's not even worth talking about?
Okay.
Everyone, the elephant in the room is Mark. He's not supposed to be here. He's here for a reason. He's here to be the next bachelor. And by the way, when he is the bachelor, I want him to be just the bachelor because he is not the Golden Bachelor.
He's not old enough.
He is not old enough.
Yes.
Or make the Silver Bachelor.
Yeah.
Which is a little weird. He's a bachelor. Just make him the bachelor. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? Make him the bachelor. We would much rather see people of that age dating than these kids who it's a mess. These rotten kids.
Andy, you're getting older
I
sooner
need a
than
cane
expected.
to like shoo kids off my lawn.
Poke them.
Get out of here.
With your pants all hiked up
meddling
high.
kids. Yeah. Wait, hold on a second. Let me do it. I'm going to do it. Can I do it? All right. Hold on a second.
Make sure you're in frame. Make sure you're in
Get off my lawn, you meddling kids. Is that good? All right. Back to business here. I want to get that out of the way.
So now we have our rose ceremony. I do have to touch on Joan's outfit. I mean, how could I not touch on this outfit? I said I would talk about things when they stood out to me.
Touch on the outfit.
This outfit was begging to be touched on. She's wearing a lime green, what appears to be silk satin gown with a sort of brooch detail here and then this cape. It's very dramatic. And then she's got her hair very tousled. It's flirting with being a side ponytail. And I guess technically it is, but there's so much tousling happening that it's sort of like not committing to full side ponytailedom, but I will accept. And yeah, I'm curious to know what your thoughts were on this first.
I thought this is the kind of dress where every one of her friends back home is texting, "Oh my God, you are a queen. You look so beautiful. That dress, oh my God." Everybody.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan.
You weren't a fan. Can you identify why you're not a fan?
Too try hard. She looked like a big leaf.
Okay. I think I liked it more than you. But my issue is I think that when you have a dramatic silhouette, you have to be...
Can I go back? I don't know if I want to diss. I don't want to diss her like that.
We're keeping that. It's not getting cut, Andy. Everyone knows how you felt. She looks like a giant leaf. Quoted from Andy. The name of this recap will be like, Joan looks like a giant leaf.
Joan and the giant
Andy.
leaf.
Okay, so you so quickly changed your mind when you realized I wasn't agreeing with you.
Well, I felt bad. Like, honestly, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's not fair for me to lay judgment like that.
Okay.
I should just be like, I don't know. What I see is someone who's wearing something that's wearing them.
Yeah.
That's what I see.
Okay. So my thing about silhouettes and about boldness is I think you have to be cautious about layering boldness on boldness.
Yes.
So for me, the color of this dress is very bold. And I think it's a little dangerous to then pair it with a very bold silhouette because then it starts to look like a costume. And so to me, this looked like almost like Glenda the Good Witch or something.
Costume.
It looked like a costume or Little Green Riding Hood. You know what I mean? It was just so much.
She looked like a kind of a weird superhero.
No, but at the same time, she looked stunning, so I don't want to criticize it too much.
But superheroes also look stunning.
Yeah.
That's what you look at a superhero, like, woo, look at this superhero.
Yeah.
But I don't want to,
I
don't want her to look like a
dress
superhero.
In navy or black would have been like really like,
black.
Ooh, yeah.
Black. With like maybe a little white somewhere, just a little white.
Yeah, I just think that, and then meanwhile, that color on a more, a simpler silhouette would have been more impactful. There's just too much impact happening. You're kind of like, I don't know where to look. It just seems like a lot.
This is what.
But she looked beautiful.
She looked beautiful. She looked striking and beautiful.
Yes.
Just not my thing.
Yeah.
When I look at a woman's dress, this is what I think to myself. I said, if I were to dress like a woman for a day, would I feel comfortable going outside with that dress on? And this dress, I would not feel comfortable.
So I would wear this dress. It wouldn't be what I choose.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also wish they'd committed more to the side pony.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the attempt. Yeah. It just wasn't enough, in my opinion. Okay.
Half-assed.
Okay. So going home at this rose ceremony, Bob, I wasn't surprised by this. Christopher, I was not surprised by this, but I was shocked that Jack went home just from a character standpoint, from him giving material and good commentary standpoint. And Michael, our rich man,
the rich guy, come on. He should have told her how much means he has. He showed her his gardening book. He thought it was subtle enough to tell her, but she didn't get the signal. He should have just said, I have means.
I have the time to grow flowers this blue.
Yeah, do you know how big my garden is? Do you know how expensive those blue seeds are?
Oh, I'm sad. I was looking forward to so many more jokes about how rich Michael is.
I know.
Bummer.
We could still do it.
I was starting to get a bad feeling 3/4 into this episode when he hadn't had any airtime.
I think Michael may have weak game. Maybe that's why he went into banking. He's just like, I got to get all the money, but my game is weak.
I will. I'm not going to paint all banking men with the same brushstroke, but I will say from my dating days.
A generalization is coming.
Generalization coming. In my experience, finance guys are,
Yeah? You think you're the first person to say that?
Okay. So Michael did say in an ITM that he is more introverted. So he did. This is not his environment.
And I don't mean any disrespect to Mike. He seems like a delightful guy, and not like a finance bro at all.
No,
he seems like the antithesis of a finance bro.
He's growing a garden with fantastically rare blue flowers.
He is a great guy. I think he got short-sticked.
Yes, I agree. Heavily short-sticked.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we were very sad about that, mostly because it made us wrong. And on his way out, Jack sings "My Way" again.
Of course.
And he's joined by Christopher in his ITM.
That was very cute.
Okay, so Andy, that brings us to the end of the episode. Who is the winner of your A game?
Jonathan.
Okay. Because
dance moves, let it go. His story, which was very impactful and touching.
Yeah.
And he showed emotion, vulnerability.
And also a little chest. He wasn't wearing a shirt with his tuxedo.
I was got a little heated there.
Yeah.
A little temperature was rising.
Very handsome.
Very handsome. And he wins.
Yep.
It was close though. It was like, it's honestly, there's like it's one of those things where like nowadays they give everybody in the class the award when no one actually
participation,
wins. Yeah, it's a participation award.
So here's the question. When you were young and you would receive a participation award, were you like, sweet?
That never happened. When I was young, it was like Lord of the Flies. They were just like, you're the winner and everyone else sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the way they did it.
Okay, I think my generation, there was a little bit more participation award, but it lost all meaning.
Stupid.
No, actually, though, I do recall doing Taekwondo and I remember showing up to our final class.
This is going to be cute.
No, I remember showing up to our final class, and this is the day we had to like do our roundhouse kick and break a plank, a la, was it Charles K who did that?
It was Charles K.
Yeah, but not with a fist. We did it with our foot. And I remember showing up and seeing all these trophies like bunched off to the side of the room. There was like 20 of them.
Yeah.
And we all had to break the thing and we all got a trophy, like to do the thing that we had been training to do for like 6 weeks or whatever. We all got the same trophy. Yeah. But let me tell you, I was stoked.
Yeah.
At that young age, I was stoked about that trophy.
That's nice.
It was as big as I was.
When I was a kid, if I got any trophy that I did not think I deserved, I didn't care about it. I didn't care. Who cares? What is this? I don't need this. This is fake. It's pandering, patronizing.
The same kid who was watching fireworks being like, what's the catch?
I did once get something. So there was a race. I think it was like third grade.
Okay.
There was a race and it was like track and field. I don't even remember how these things happened, but there was some track and field race. I think my mom was there.
All right.
And I remember right out of the start, I got tripped, totally tripped. Like completely, like intentionally tripped and fell on my face.
Aww.
And the guy who tripped me won. And I made a stink. I cried tears. I was like, no, this is not happening. This is unfair. We are doing this race again. And I finished like, you know what? You're right. You're right. And they did the race again and I won.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You've never told me that.
Yeah. And I got a blue ribbon, I remember, that I had on my little board in my room until I was an embarrassing age.
Wow.
Because I remember that's the time I fought for a victory and I deserved it.
Yes.
And I never really followed that lesson later in life. But at that moment, I was very into it.
I love that story, Andy. Okay, so Andy, that brings us to the word watch. There were 3 grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some grandchildren, but they did not count.
Yeah, no.
And so our winner of $200 in Fungi's products is Barb H. Daniels. Congratulations. Please email us by Monday at midnight to claim your prize. Very exciting. And Andy, what would you say the next word, so meaning the word for episode 3, should be?
Hurt.
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 Okay. So if you would like to join in the Shandy Word Watch Fun and have a chance to win a fantastic prize, then you must guess the number of times the word hurt, H-U-R-T, is uttered in episode 3 of the Golden Bachelorette. You must do so by entering the numeral of the number of times you predict, and you must do so by commenting either on this YouTube video you're watching right now or over on the Instagram post. We're at Dear Shandy on Instagram, the Instagram post advertising this same recap. You must do so by Monday at midnight. And if you guess correctly, you'll be entered in a draw and one name will be plucked and that person will win. We're so excited to bring this prize back.
Oh, it's a good one.
A great prize. $200 to spend at one of our all-time favorite sponsors, fastgrowingtrees.com. We love this. You know, this would be a good one for Michael. Oh,
I was thinking the same thing.
Michael, but he doesn't need $200.
No, he doesn't need.
He's shelling
maybe
out
$2 million
out of
at Fast Growing Trees. You'd be like, oh, now we're talking.
So $200 to spend. You can get fantastic trees, literally trees delivered to your door. And what's so cool is that you can search based on your zip codes. So you can be sure that they will actually thrive. They have an alive and thrive guarantee. They will actually thrive where you live.
And trust me, they thrive. They almost thrive too much.
Yes.
I've now on my 3rd pot for my cherry tree.
Yes. It's thriving too zealously.
It's over thriving.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, by this Monday at midnight. And I think that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck.
Andy, that brings us to our predictions. Okay, so first place, 1, 2, 3, and then the name.
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
Keith.
Okay.
Nice.
So we both still think he's winning. I don't think that needs any explanation. Okay, so in second place.
Hold on a second. Okay. Go.
1, 2, 3,
Guy.
Oh.
Whoa. Wow.
So to be honest, I didn't see much chemistry between her and Guy.
Yeah, but I didn't see much of Guy at all.
Yeah. There was one moment where he took her to the photo booth to take a photo together, and it felt very not romantic.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be swayed.
No, and the thing is, I just think Guy is he's the right package, and right now I'm putting a lot of stock in that because I don't really see a lot of romance with anyone, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's just not a vibe I'm getting from anyone. So I still think Guy is a big one to watch. He's got that $1 million smile. Okay, so in third now, 1, 2, 3, Dan.
Wow.
Oh.
Damn. Oof.
Okay, I don't think we need to explain that. We've talked about Dan enough.
Yeah, wow.
Although I could always talk about Dan some more. Okay, so fourth place now.
Okay, hold on. Okay, go.
1, 2, 3, Mark.
Chock and Jonathan.
Okay, Chock.
I'm the boss. No one can tell me I'm wrong.
Okay.
I can do what I want.
So you're
my own
not
rules.
buying Mark to the point where he's still not in your top 4.
I'm not buying Mark anymore.
You never bought Mark.
No, I'm not buying it.
Did you have Mark in your top 4 last week?
I had him, I think, as 4th. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay. So it's not that I want to buy Mark. It's more that like they had that whole scene. I just feel like he has to be one to watch, even if I don't see it. I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this.
The 4th spot, the top 3 are hard, but the 4th spot is impossible.
Yeah.
This is impossible.
So Chock and Jonathan. So I'm thrown by the previews of Chock. Like we see a preview that really makes it look like he leaves.
Yeah, but
I know. I don't know why I let myself be swayed by that.
So since I cheated, I'll let you cheat. Who's your tied for 4th?
I guess. I just don't feel a romantic thing with Jonathan. But I don't see a romantic thing with most. I'm going to be honest. I'm really struggling. I guess I'll do Chock just because he got the one-on-one.
Okay. So
I don't know. Okay, we're going to just put a 3-way tie, Jonathan, Chock, and Mark. Okay.
Okay, no more cheating. Next episode, no more cheating.
No, with this our show, we can do whatever we want.
No, but it's I'm saying it's our show, and I'm saying we have to agree no more cheating in the top 4.
No, I want an easy life, Andy.
Understood.
We don't need to do this to ourselves.
Okay.
Okay, that is a wrap.
That's it.
Okay, if you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram and
TikTok,
leave us Apple and
Spotify
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends, and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. And we're going to reiterate that because word of mouth is a thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah, be like now when no one's listening to this.
Okay. Well, people might be sticking around for what you're about to do. Oh my God. Ruby.
Right here. Look at this. It's all yours. All yours. Oh my God.
Ruby,
come on. Ruby.
Ruby, come on. Come on, Ruby. Ruby.
You got it. Of course.
Ruby.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay, back here.
No. Come back. Ruby,
come on.
Come on.
Ruby,
Come on.
here.
Come on.
You want it. You want it.
Come on. Yes. Oh, but she acknowledged you. Someone pointed out that she always acknowledges the person she doesn't go with, which is so
That's
cute.
so sweet. Oh.
Oh.
Okay. And she jumped up.
Okay. Do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.